What's up, everybody? G Fire Productions in the place to be. Superman First Class in the mix, and today I'm gonna be recovering our Spark machines. Let's get it. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Gerald, here again with another share. Now, I'm gonna talk to you guys about recovering the Spark machines in particular, because as DJs, we go out and we perform and we have to recover a lot of stuff, right? So depending on what it is how much work we have to do after the event. Like if it's things like uplighting, for example, we may have to recharge those if they're battery powered and wireless. There's cables, sometimes we have to roll out and re-roll to get ready for the next event. I personally, with cables, kind of recover those at events like I'm going to the next event immediately, so they'll get repacked and stacked accordingly, like at the end of the night. But sometimes with cabling, for example, we may be outside at a football game, and if it rained the day before, then the cables are going to get muddy. So we will then later have to roll those out and wipe them all clean. But with things like Spark machines, they need extra special care, because those are the type of machines that when you put powder inside of them to fire off at the wedding, it's all good, but you don't want to leave that powder in there because it'll harden up on you and your machine will be rendered useless. When you're at an event, you don't always have time to fire off the rest of the powder, but as soon as you can get that out of there, get it out of there. And at 3 o'clock in the morning, it's not the time for me to set up and do that. So I'm gonna do it right now. Let's get it. So what I have here are 2 Spark machines, cabling, and then I have the cases for the Spark machine. So everything here has to be cleaned out. Over here on the table is a DMX controller, powder in the bag right here, and I also have a remote control with another DMX cable, right? So I'm gonna recover this whole system and put everything back together in its original configuration. Basically, all I'm doing is just kind of making sure there's no particles, powders inside the lids, which they're not at the moment, but again, I am double checking. I'm gonna move them away from the Spark machines because what I'm gonna do is fire up the rest of the powder that's inside of them, and I don't want that to get on the cases after I clean them up. Now, as for the bottoms of the cases right here, here's a couple of rollers that Elliot made right here to conveniently move the cases around, because sometimes we do leave the machines inside the case with only the back and the top off. But when we fire it like that, then powder's gonna get inside here. We just turn it upside down outside and just kind of hit on it, right? Now sometimes we may use a old rag or a brush or something like that, but for the most part, the powder easily falls out of here, so no big deal right there. All right, so let's talk about cabling real quick. Each machine does come with its own PowerCon cable, and then it also comes with DMX cable. The idea is plug in all 4 machines, but be able to DMX jump them from one to the other. Here's the problem with that though. When you have 4 individual plugs, that means I need 4 individual sockets to power each machine. So what I've done was I purchased some jumpers, right? And it depends on the scenario, and you can get these in different lengths, but what happens is the first machine gets original power into it, and the rest of the machines get jumped out of the first machine and then into the next machine, and that's how it gets both power and DMX. Now this cable right here was custom made. Basically, I took a standard 25-foot DMX cable and I was able to put the PowerCon cable with it, and I think it was about 10 feet or so. So I took another 15-foot extension cable and made it all one cable. So on this end, it's coming out of the DMX controller and out of power from a wall socket, powering into the first machine, and DMX controlling into the first machine. After that, we just jump from one machine to the other with PowerCon and DMX. Now the way I put these 2 together is simply with Velcro every foot or so. So as you can see here, I got the cable all stretched out, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and plug this into the DMX controller, and then I'm gonna go over here and find my power strip and plug it in. Take my 25-foot cable with the PowerCon in and plug it right into the machine, but make sure it's turned off first so I don't get surprised here. And then I'm gonna take the DMX into the first machine. Now I have this jumper cable right here, so I'm gonna go PowerCon out of the machine, and then I'm gonna also go DMX out. Now over here on the next machine, all I have to do is PowerCon in and DMX in, turn on the machines. I'm just gonna go ahead and fire up the machine. So I have to first take it off blackout mode, which means I can now control lights and stuff like that. These fixtures are no different. They're just Spark machines. I'm gonna select the actual button that I have those machines assigned to here on the DMX. And in my case, the first slider is to heat them up. So let's do that. So while the Spark machines are heating up, they're gonna go to about 500, just so you guys know. But what I really wanted to show you was two things. Right now, these lights are blinking to tell me that it's in DMX mode. The heat button is working right now. And when they are ready, this button's gonna start flashing green. The reason why we're recovering these, because one, when you use them, it will get some residue right there, as you can see on my finger and by the wipe of the machine. And in this hole is where we fill the powder, and out of this hole with the warning sign here is where the sparks come out of. And also what I wanted to give you guys a close-up of is all blue right here is like the power con in, and all white is the power con out. And the DMX cables are male and female, right? So that's how that works. Actually, it's female and male, I believe. Right? Let's see. Yep, female and male. Once it gets to about 500, it automatically goes back to its assigned DMX number, which is 321 in my case. And the ready light is blinking now, so it's ready to fire. This machine can send up sparks as soon as I go over to the DMX controller and hit it. And the other one is almost there. So there you go, you saw it twice. Back at the DMX controller, slider number 1 engages the heating element. Now that they're ready to fire, I'm gonna go ahead and slide up number 2 here to make them spark. So I'm not gonna be doing any talking. I'm just gonna spark this up until I run all of the spark powder out of the machines. That's the goal here. Now, in case you guys are wondering, are the sparks gonna set my house on fire? The answer is no. These are indoor sparkler machines, and we use these quite often, and we've been testing them with everything from our hands to paper, plastic bags, whatever, and they're safe. I think they burn at about 62 degrees in this case. Other machines may have variances in their degrees, but basically they are called cold sparks for a reason, because they're safe for indoors and they are safe to touch, right? I don't recommend doing that regularly, but if you had to, you could. So let's keep firing off all the powder out of the machine until it's all gone. Got a few dots of residue there. Now, in case you guys saw me in the video on the time lapse with my feet on top of the machines, so I was shaking the powder in the machine so that it falls into the burner so it could fire it all out. That's a pretty tedious process, but it's what I need to do to make sure I get all of the powder possible, because sometimes these machines could be stored for a length of time, and right about now it is turning winter, so you don't want moisture plus the powder to start hardening and ruin your machines. So I am satisfied that all of the powder is burned off in both machines. So I'm gonna go ahead and shut down the heating element right now. And also I'm gonna go ahead and turn the machines off. So now that they are turned off, another thing I like to do is turn the machines upside down and just kind of shake loose any powder that may still be in them. That's just my thing. You don't really have to do that, but it's something I wanna do. First, unplug everything. Now here's my single cable right here, so I'm gonna take this paper towel and just kind of wipe down that. And it's a simple process of recovery. Roll it up and then that'll be that. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna unplug my 25-foot extension cable set up here, and I'm gonna unplug the DMX cable. I'm gonna stretch this out to its full length, grab this end, and I'm just kind of wipe all the dust off of here. I don't know if you saw that earlier, but on this end of the cable, I have this Velcro strap that came with the original PowerCon cable for the machine. So I'm gonna just use this to secure the entire cable when I roll it all up. So here we go. And now I just simply dust off the machines. So I'm done with the DMX control. I'm gonna go ahead and unplug it. There's actually a power button for the DMX controller too. All right, so the bag on the table pretty much had the spark powder inside of it. So this is a fresh bag that I'm gonna put back in the mix. This one is empty because last night we did a half and half. At first, we were filling both machines up all the way, but we noticed quickly that we were not actually firing off the machines to get all the spark powder out of it. And that was only a half bag. So imagine like a full bag per machine. That only happens when we're DJing at those kind of events where we're constantly firing off the machines for a full 20 seconds. But because it was at a wedding and we generally using it for the first dance, we get a few small bursts throughout the dance, and then at the finale or the dip, we get the full 20 seconds, and then after that, the machine's still full of powder. So we have DJs that don't own DMX machines, but have to do events where we require lighting control versus just letting the lights do whatever. But for the most part, the majority of our DJs do have these wonderful machines. So this mostly stays in storage. All right, so we got the DMX controller fully recovered with all its cable and accessories. Now we're gonna go ahead and put the Sparkx machines back inside of their cases. Okay, I wanted to get you guys a close-up of the machines in their dedicated cases, because what I wanted to show was that the cases do come with this foam padding right here, and from the top view it's on all four corners. So the reason why that is so that the machines one, have good ventilation, because there's a vent on the side of the machines themselves, but there's also vents on the side of each case. So if we are using this inside the case, it can suck air in, and then heat comes right out of the back. Also, if we are using these in the case, as you can see, we got these cool rollers that Elliot made. And once we're done with everything, we put the tops and the backs on. They all fit universally, so it doesn't matter which one's which. And usually what we try to do is with each machine is send it out with a bag of powder, a DMX cable, and the original power cable, because you never know when different scenarios happen or situations pop up. So if these are not needed, they're generally just put to the side. Now these don't need a DMX controller. We could use jumper cables from one machine to the other and use the remote to fire them off, and they'll work just fine like that also. So here it is, everybody, last leg, and this is generally what happens after a wedding. We use it and we put the cases on them accordingly. These are some pretty robust cases. I really like them. It just goes on something like that. Boom. So in case you're wondering why we don't have the original PowerCon cable in this case, because it's attached to that roll right there. So there it is, party people. We just recovered the Sparkx machines. Shout out to Elliot for making those rolling panels for him. That was a big help. So that's some ingenuity for you. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notifications so you don't miss any cool videos when we put them out at G5 Productions. If you want to know more about us, all you got to do is go to the web and look us up through www.g5productions.com. Let's party.